Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. The topic for discussion is the challenges of IP amidst the COVID pandemic. As you can imagine, this is a very current subject and a critical one for IP professionals globally and students interested in IP. It would not be possible for me to cover all of the challenges of IP that we are facing today in 15 minutes. However, I hope to touch upon the key issues that I am facing from a practicing attorney's perspective. I have structured this presentation into three main sections. In the first few minutes, I will be discussing the challenges in IP filings. And then I hope to move on to challenges in the enforcement of IP in our courts. And lastly, a few minutes for challenges for businesses. So let's get started. So ever since the lockdown began, all IP offices, the Patent and Trademark Office in particular, have issued several notifications, circulars, orders, etc. And these have ranged from the extension of the limitation period to extensions of deadlines to postponement of hearings. Now, an interesting situation arose when the Supreme Court on the 23rd of March issued an order extending the period of limitation in all proceedings indefinitely. Now, this would last until further orders would be passed by the Supreme Court. However, the PTO on the 4th of May issued an order which extended the limitation period only until the 18th of May, which was one day after the expiry of the lockdown at that time. Now, obviously, this caused a considerable amount of confusion, and the IP Attorneys Association approached the Delhi High Court to squash the public notice of the PTO. So they did this on the grounds that no court, tribunal or any authority can contradict the Supreme Court, as per Articles 141 and 142 of the Constitution. They also argued that all authorities in India must act in accordance with the Supreme Court's orders, that is Article 144 of the Constitution. So the Delhi High Court has issued a notice stating that it will suspend all operations of this PTO's notice. The matter is further listed for hearing on the 17th of June. So the current status now at the PTO and the IPAB is that the period of limitation has been extended. That is, deadlines for filing of responses, hearings, submission of documents are extended until further notice. Any delays and transmitting or resubmitting of documents are also being condoned by the controller. The PTO has always allowed electronic filing of applications and submission of responses, or rather they've allowed this for the last few years. So electronic filing was already the norm at the PTO. However, all in-person hearings are now video conferencing hearings. And the requirements for such video conferencing hearings are listed on the IPAB website in their order dated 11th May 2020. This includes restrictions as to the kind of or the minimum internet connection required and the type of machine or computer to be used. So if you have an urgent matter at the IPAB, you are required to file a special petition and an undertaking that physical copies will be submitted after the lockdown period. Let's move on to challenges in enforcement of IP. So the biggest challenge in enforcement has been the closure of courts. However, the courts have moved to electronic filing of matters. Detailed guidelines are listed on the Supreme Court and State High Court websites, and these include instructions that advocates need to register themselves on the website. Court fees would be paid online. Provisional application numbers are generated via SMS. However, the electronic filing is limited only to urgent matters. One-page synopsis of the urgency needs to be detailed and submitted with the application. Email and phone numbers of the advocates need to be mentioned, and an affidavit with a prayer for exemption of notary or apostle also needs to be filed. In addition, an undertaking that physical copies will be submitted after the lockdown. Hearings are also only by video conferencing at the courts. In addition, if advocates require to use the video conferencing facilities at the court's premises, especially the Supreme Court, a separate consent needs to be submitted. So every high court has its own rules and regulations as well, and these are detailed on the court websites. So the current status right now is that most courts are now open, albeit for a limited number of hours. Both electronic and physical filings are permitted now, and a special petition needs to be filed for urgent matters. And hearings are held only by video conferencing. So for me, the biggest challenges in businesses has been in infringement and counterfeit products in the market. So e-commerce and online shopping has become the norm now and the new normal. So this has led to several infringement of trademarks and counterfeit products in the market. An interesting case occurred when Hindustan Lever alleged Reckitt TV commercial for Dettol disparaged Lifebuoy soaps, because according to Hindustan Lever, the TV commercial showed a soap with the same shape and color as HUL's Lifebuoy. So this matter came up before the Mumbai High Court, and HUL sought 1 crore in damages and a permanent injunction. The status right now is that Reckitt has held back the ad and until orders will be passed. Another matter that also involved Reckitt is when a company infringed its well-known trademark Dettol by manufacturing and selling a hand sanitizer with the name Devtol. So the Delhi High Court imposed 1 lakh costs on the defendant here. So apart from infringement and counterfeit products, another challenge has been how to minimize legal costs. So the work for lawyers and attorneys remain the same, if not more, with all the additional documents required to be submitted. However, we need to be aware of the current financial climate, and we need to find the right balance between our needs and our clients' needs. Another issue and concern for several businesses has been the threat of compulsory licensing of COVID-related products. So what is the concern for most businesses that are manufacturing COVID-related products is that after they go through the trouble of producing and the cost of developing such a product, then there is a chance that this would be licensed out without their permission by the government under Section 84 of our Indian Patent Act, which provides that after 3 years of the grant, the reasonable requirements of the public are not satisfied. If it is not available to the public at an affordable price and it's not worked in India, it can be licensed out. In addition, the Doha Declaration on Public Health, that is the TRIPS agreement, states that a compulsory license may be issued by a government authority or a court to make certain use of a patented invention without the consent of a patent holder if it was to protect public health or provide access to medicines. So all of this has allowed for a discussion on creating a patent pool of COVID-related products. And the WHO has gone ahead and created such a patent pool. The idea behind it is that it will act as a common pool for COVID-related innovation and drugs, since medical products may not be accessible for poorer countries. However, only developing nations have agreed for this and signed up, and the pharmaceutical industry has been opposing it. So these are some of the challenges we've been facing. And so here are a few of my suggestions on how we can or what we can do. So I believe now more than ever, IP protection is critical. Registration of IP is as important as its enforcement. As I already mentioned, the courts are open to hear urgent matters, and IP infringement has been considered as urgent by the courts. So once the urgency petition is filed, the court will hear your matter and in a few days, and if needed, we will be able to get an injunction. Another suggestion that I have is brand promotion. So your brand is your image, your story, your company stand on important matters. And I wanted to show you how some famous brands have been promoting their products during this pandemic. See, this is an ad from Nike. And as you can see, they have been advertising and promoting their brand at the same time promoting social distancing and staying at home. Similar ad from Coca-Cola. Volkswagen, Audi, McDonald's. My last suggestion is to collaborate with each other. Collaborate with universities, research institutions. There are lots of open source collaborations right now in IT. They are in drug discovery programs and in human genome sequencing, as an example. Another good example of collaboration is voluntary licensing. Very recently, Gilead Sciences announced that they would be licensing the manufacturing and licensing of their drug Remdesivir to 4 pharma companies in India and 1 in Pakistan at no cost until the pandemic is resolved. So if for those of you who don't know, Remdesivir is the antiviral drug that is being used in the treatment of COVID. Now, these pharma companies can mark their own costs. And I believe that the voluntary licensing would work if there's no profit motive involved and if there's affordable access to the drug. There are several challenges and I've only covered a few. I would like, however, to give credit where credit is due, and our courts have risen magnificently to this task. They have adopted technology for e-filings and video conferencing. And I believe as lawyers, if we want to come out on the other side, we need to also adapt and shine despite all of these challenges. So that's it for me. Thank you very much and have a great evening.